Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. I am back again with another video, a book video this time, and we are discussing the newest Joan Thatiah's book, Mad Women. I read this book so that you don't have to. I'm gonna tell you about it. I am excited about this book. I just woke up and I was like, okay, let's discuss Mad Women. This book was released. We're in April. It came out in April 10th. April 10th, yes. I'm among the first people to get hold of this book, the first 50. So I'm going to read it so that you don't have to. But of course, I'm not going to give spoilers. But what I do is let me place my coffee over there. What I do is every time I read this book as a gift, it's written. I love people who buy you books and on page one they write you something. Let me tell you, it's the small things. I love it. There's a beauty that you open a book and this is such a thoughtful gift. By the books are such a thoughtful gift. So it's written. I know you're a love of books. Read this, but don't be mad. Don't be. Yeah, this book was gifted to me the same day it came out. So this is what I do. Every time I read a book, even the confessions, and I have them here, we will talk about them in a minute. I do a summary of how I understood or how I would want to refer that, right? So there's a way I understand art, there's a way I understand literature. So this is me. Yeah, so we're going to go through this in a minute. It has a total of 10 stories. The writing style is the same as the one that Confessions has. We're going to go through this in a minute. So this is what I've been getting this question of like Mad Women, kwani confessions ilikuwa ngapi? So the confessions are like as follows. This is how these confessions are written. The confessions are 5. The confessions are 5 and I have them here with me. So Joan Thatiah, I think during COVID, she wrote the book Confessions of Nairobi Women 1. So when she did Confessions of Nairobi Women 1, people were like, okay, we want more. So Confessions of Nairobi Women 1, they are written in this order. Confessions of Nairobi Women 1. Then she did Confessions of Nairobi Women 2. So what she's been doing every year since COVID, she's been writing a book every year. That's so beautiful. That's consistency. That is, yeah. So she did Confessions of Nairobi Women 1. She did Confessions of Nairobi Women 1. Then the following year, she did Confessions of Nairobi Women 2, book 2. Then she went ahead to do the most talked about book, Confessions of Nairobi Men 2. If you don't read any other confessions, pick this. I remember being on holiday and I see this guy by the beach reading this book. I just had to go and ask him whether he's okay. I was like, hi, how's that book? Because this one is heavy. If there's a book I would recommend everybody to read, Confessions of Nairobi Men 1. This one is heavy. This one is heavy. Leave alone. And I think the understanding is that the confessions are mainly kubwa. They are bigger. They are way thicker than the women ones. Men had so much to say. Yeah. So if you never read any other confessions, friends, go and read Confessions of Nairobi Women 1. Confessions of Nairobi Men 1. If you never read any other confessions, go read this one. I read this one, I think an year or 2 years ago, and it's still, I can remember, especially the first story, from the way it starts. You just read these books, and that's why these books you can't read in one sitting. You can, but you just read them, and they're so heavy, and the same one. I have done the same for Confessions of Nairobi Men 2. How I understand. The first story is Too Little Time. Grace feel 3 kids, Syokimau. This lady's cheating. Then the husband questions her about it. And they're building this home in Syokimau. So he drives there. She calls her and she's like, hi. She calls him and tells him, hi, can we meet in our Syokimau house? He gets there. She's hanged herself. She does the DNA for the 3 kids. They are not his. So now he's raising kids who he doesn't know, Iwanani, and the wife has died and everybody is blaming him. Let me tell you, Summer Confessions of Nairobi Men 1. This is where the drama is. Yeah. The killing the father on the balcony. This guy has a bang of anger. He's been watching the father beat the mom, so he decides, hey, it's too much. And babake without the intention of killing him. The father dies and the mom is angry. Friends, let me tell you, the cab driver, the carjacking, Emily and his son, a cheating wife. Chapter 6, addiction. The other one, I touched Natella, special needs parent, extended family, bank robbery, a man on the run. I'll do a video for this one. I think I've realized I haven't done these books justice yet. So we'll do a video for this one because if you never read any other confessions, read this one. Then after she did Confessions of Nairobi Men 1, as it was expected, she did Confessions of Nairobi Men 2, another heavy one. These Confessions of Nairobi Men are they are thicker. Another heavy one. You can't read this book in 1 year. This book was gifted to me by my sister. Yeah, it's written, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I love you so much, sister. I read it last year. Let me tell you. Ikitabu, so many confessions, friends. This is the first story. I still remember Ted to date. I still remember, Confessions of Nairobi Men 2. Yeah, then, this one is the one she did last year. This was her 2025 book. Confessions of Nairobi Men and Nairobi Women, the last chapter. So this was the culmination of the confessions. Hii ilikuwa ndio ya mwisho, the last chapter ya confessions. Na hii ni mixed, hii ni women na men. I think hapo ndio watu hawaelewani. So this book is not about confessions, it's about mad women. So let's dive right into it. This book is, let me tell you, somebody saw me reading this book at work. I'm like, hi, I would want to I would want to understand what is mad women about. And anyway, don't judge a book by its cover, just go read it. I think that's the essence of it. So story number one, the story number one is the sack on the bus. The sack on the bus. So I'll read you the title of the book and my understanding. The sack on the bus. I've written the side notes, the diagnosis from hell, then death hits, then the sack, then her breasts are removed. I'm going to tell you a small snippet of this story. In my understanding of the sack on the bus, story one is a diagnosis from hell. This babe, she's young, she's working, she meets this guy, they get a kid. Then the kid, no, the diagnosis from hell, she's diagnosed, and there are so many hospital visits, there's so much financial constraints and everything. So let me tell you, let me read you just a small. She says, I didn't know that then that a name cannot protect a child from fate. And this is what I have written. I've written whether, yeah. So one evening on a particular bad hospital stay, where Selena had been on oxygen for 3 days, my husband stood in the kitchen doorway. I was cooking supper and said he needed space. He said he was tired of watching her struggle like that. I remember laughing. Because what else do you do when someone tells you they're living here alone in a burning house? He moved out of our apartment that week. The husband moves out. He said he cannot handle the daughter's diagnosis. It's too much. He's moved out of the house, and now it's her. She does not have a job. She is the firstborn. And one thing I have noted in this book is that, maybe because I'm a firstborn and I was able to highlight that, but firstborns are raised to be, you're strong. Like, I am the firstborn. I cannot go home. Like, I cannot fail. I cannot go back home. So I need to figure it out. So the husband has gone. The child one night passes on. And this is what she wakes up. I just realized it wasn't recording, but anyway. So story number one, sack on the bus. She's just a babe, gets married. Then the diagnosis from hell. The daughter is diagnosed. The husband comes one day and says he's tired. He needs a break. So he takes a break. He moves out of the apartment that week. She's left with a sick child with no job. One morning, the baby is gone, and she has 500 shillings to her name. And pride is a stubborn thing, and that's what she says. I think she says, pride is a stubborn thing. So what does she do? She packs her daughter's body in a sack. She actually says, let me do that part. So when I stuffed Selena's body in a sack, I told myself I was being practical and that it was strength. I was the eldest and I was supposed to solve the problems. I was determined, even in grief, not to become a bill to my family that my family could not pay. So she packs her daughter's body in a sack. They're going to Isiolo for burial. And you can imagine the tale of a mother. Oh my God. Packing her child's body in a sack, in a matatu, to go and bury. Pride is a stubborn thing. So she goes, buries the child with the little money they could raise around the village. She was helped by the villagers, comes back to Nairobi in debt, but she has to figure out things. And I think one thing I love about the first one, they'll figure it out. So somehow she gets back on her feet. She says, the first time I saw 7 figures in my account, I thought the bank had made a mistake. I refreshed the banking app 3 times, $1 million. I sat at the edge of my bed, a different bed now, in a slightly better apartment, and I stared at the number for a long time. It is not joy that I felt, it was power. Then she goes ahead later and the last part, I do not regret. So that's it. Story number one, the sack on the bus, the diagnosis from hell. Story number two is the cleansing. In my understanding, I've written it as betrayal in the church. Simply said as betraying the church. This lady is not getting a church. She's been referred to so many churches. So she meets this friend. She's like, there's a church in Kangemi where this pastor prays for people. Then one day she's forgotten stuff in the church. You have to pay, I think, 5,000 shillings for the special prayers. Then she finds out the pastor has been doing stuff with the ladies in the church, and she feels that betrayed. You know what she does? She burns the church. She burns the church. Actually, she says, when I went to burn it, I did not mean to burn the church. I only meant to burn the altar. Yep. She just burns the church and I catch your makeup because I simply say betraying the church. Story number 3, stay with me. In my understanding, I've written it just a trying firstborn. This lady, up at Nyayo Estate, here in Nyayo, she's the firstborn. I think there's a lot of firstborning in this book. She's the firstborn. The small sister, she's 18, she's just finished high school, comes to her and tells her she's pregnant. What does she do? Practical way. She thinks, let's go to an abortion clinic. She goes there. The sister does not wake up. The sister dies. So imagine she's calling the parents to tell them, hi, Please come to hospital. And they find their baby has died. Where do you start explaining? So they go for a burial. They come back. The mom and the dad ban all her documents, her high school certificates, all her documents. They ban them. ID kila kitu na wanamfukuza. So she says now she's manager somewhere right now, but she says when somebody asks her about her family these days, she's like, they died in an accident. There is another version where she says she was raised by the grandmother. Yeah, but I see it as just a trying fast, but she was just trying, but the parents not get that. That is story number 3. Story number 4 is shaped by a man's anger. An angry father. An angry father. And in my understanding, I've written an angry father and our shaping of our upbringing. I've said that about the book, this book. I've talked about that in this book. I don't know whether I did that in any of this book. The way we grow up has a very big impact on who we become and how we become, who we become, how we react, how we show up. This babe is shaped by a man's anger. The father is an angry man and he's angry at everyone else apart from himself. And you know what? That's just a projection. He beats the mom like crazy. He just blames everything on government, his failures, the things he did not do on everybody. He's just an angry man. And now growing up in such a household, she just notices, and which is the thing, when you grow up in chaos or when you're used to chaos, you grow up and peace feels like something, I am not used to this. So she meets partners and you know what she does? She will try to shout and throw stuff, but now she meets this really calm guy and she's like, this is very unusual. And actually during her Rurasho, she walks in there, so and is like shaped by man's anger. During Rurasho, she walks in there and she's like, if my future is being discussed, I must be here. Then she takes the amount of money that was requested during the Rurasho and transferred it to the mother. Because, yeah, I love her. I love her. Yeah. Shaped by a man's anger. How we grow up has a very huge impact on who we become and how we show up. That's story number 4. Story number 5 is the slow humiliation. The tales of a dying man. This babe agrees to marry this guy because he has 6 months to live. Then I agreed to marry Daniel because he was dying. 6 months, the doctor had said, as if they were announcing a school term. So she's like, she's going through it at a year. So she's like, in 6 months, I see stability. So you know what she does? She agrees to marry Daniel. 6 months later, Daniel has colon cancer. 6 months later, Daniel does not die. In fact, he starts becoming better. So she's like, okay, I was marrying a dying man. Sometimes you start to understand the title of the book. She was marrying a dying man, so Daniel does not die in 6 months. Actually, he starts becoming healthy. And he's back on his feet, and now she married him. And you know what he does when he recovers? He cheats on this girl who stood by her. He recovers. He does not die in 6 months. He recovers, and you know what he does? He cheats on this girl who actually stood by him when he was almost dying. They're married now. But she says she finds out about him cheating, and there's a bit with you the last paragraph where she says there are things he says silently, because I can only imagine when you start. I stand by you when you're going through the most, then you recover and you decide. Yeah. So this is what she says. Sometimes after some time, and sometimes in the darkest, most private parts of my mind, I admit something I would never say out loud. I sometimes wish the chemo had worked out. I found out about my husband's mistress on a Tuesday afternoon a few months ago when my husband had left his phone on the dining table. This dying man. I will not comment on that. So, slow humiliation by Daniel because he was dying. Story number 6 is expert in desire. In my understanding, I've written, takers have no limits. Nairobi's nightlife. Another trying firstborn. The sister has been diagnosed. She needs to go to India. They don't have money. So what does she do? She goes to the streets and gets money. If you understand. So she gets 200,000. The sister goes to India, comes back. She's well. She's gotten the kidney transplant. I think it was a kidney transplant. Then one evening when the sister is okay, the parents call her and they're like, ulipata ile do wapi? Where did you get the money to give us to treat your sister? We are not stupid. So, they ask her. And you know what she decides? Takers have no limits, friends. Takers have no limits. And you know what she decides? Oh, you guys, and she's like, but I was trying to save her. They're like, no, you have no morals. I read that story and I just wanted to. You may continue living here, they say, but you understand that you have disappointed us deeply. I've disappointed you and I saved your child's life. Yeah. So you know what she decides? Oh, I went to the streets to get money to save your daughter and you guys don't see it. You know what? I'll go back to those streets. And if I can get money to help, I will make some money. I will make something out of myself. She goes and now takes the nightlife. Now that's her life. And she moves out. And this one time, she's outside with this politician. And you know what? The politician dies in the room. And you know what she does? She flees to Mombasa. Read this book, friends. She flees to Mombasa and she's there for 1 year. She goes there and studies psychology. Then she comes back and goes to Westlands and she sets up a counseling thing for relationships. I don't know what they're called, life coach or what. She sets up and she's now successful. She's a doctor. Yeah. So you know what? Takers have no limits, but she decided, okay, I'm gonna make something out of this. And now she has money, she's good, she's earning well. Her clinic, women come there crying with their relationship problems, and she talks to them. But yeah, the next story: expert in desire, the wrong wife. Number 7, I married a portrait. This one I'll have to. The day I had my Rorashio, I stood beside a framed photograph. In the photograph, Martin was in a charcoal suit, a white suit, and a tie. Oh, we were talking about you. Oh, she a girl. She just wanted to leave the village. So akatafutiwa bwana. You see, during the rushes when people they're cutting cake and you have to feed your partner. Yeah, she fed the portrait. She lifted the cake in symbolic way. The guy she was marrying, she had never met. He was in Canada. The wrong wife. I think they just needed ati alisema he wants somebody who is obedient, so the parents are rich wakamtafutia mtu. So she married a portrait. She just sat there nicely next to a portrait. There's so much that happens out here. My God. So but the body notices what the mouth does not say. So she's married the portrait, moves to Nairobi in the apartment that the parents have bought for the guy. They've been talking on video call. There's no chemistry, there's no nothing. The guy comes after 2 years, she's pregnant, she gets a child, he goes back. They've been trying to get her visa to go, it's not easy. So she's just here. And even now she says now she got another child from another guy because like the guy goes back to Canada. Like the partner who she married is my sister's son. This lady decides to be a surrogate. The sister cannot bear children, the elder sister. So the elder sister requests her to be the surrogate parent. And it happens. So she's never wanted to have children of her own. And yep. So she gives the sister, she becomes a surrogate parent to the sister, and that's it. She's now married, but she says, but I love being married. This part was never a lie. But she says, but I was never maternal. Even as a girl, I did not gravitate towards babies. I held them because it was expected, because aunties wouldn't push the soft milk scented bundles off their arms. Feel that? I liked children when they could speak in full sentences, when they could reason. Yeah, I understand. So she, like her, she doesn't want a child. She gave the sister, she became a surrogate parent. She's now married. She's had 4 abortions because she does not want to get a child, and the husband thinks she can't bear children. So they keep trying on the next clinic, on the next clinic, on the next clinic. But she just keeps aborting those children. So 4 abortions later, and the doctor is asking her, but you just get then a permanent solution. But she says, the funny part is, she likes being pregnant, but she does not want to. I don't want children of my own. Some women dream of babies the way I dream of houses to travel. He's married. She's actually a pastor's wife, and the pastor keeps praying. But she's now saying she's thinking of going for a permanent procedure, and also like recommend, because the husband is a good man. So the last 4 abortions later, child free. Number 9, matriarchy. She becomes the 3rd wife by circumstances, by awareness, or rather the lack of it. She meets this guy, she likes him, and she agrees to be the 3rd wife. But she doesn't know Kumbe the 1st wife is from a rich family and she's the one who controls this wealth. She gets married because of the wealth. Kumbe the wealth belongs to the 1st wife. Yeah. So then the last one, freeing the altar. This babe, I love this story. Again, as the firstborn urged to be chosen, she ran from the altar on her wedding day, bad days. So she's there. She's met this amazing guy. I was 6 weeks pregnant, and the child growing inside me did not belong to the man waiting at the altar. So she gets to the altar on her wedding day. She stands there, and the husband is excited. It's a wedding day. Of course, you've gathered your family, friends, and everybody. And she tells him, I can't do this. And she runs from the altar, and she runs to the guy who got her pregnant, and he tells him he was not ready to be a father. Yeah. So she walks, and now you can imagine the disappointment on the parents' eyes and everybody. She runs from the altar. Yeah. So that's it. Mad Women. Grab the book, guys. A total of 9. Of 10 amazing stories. 10 amazing stories. This one everybody should read. I took sometimes I would read 2 chapters in a day. I didn't want to finish the whole book because I know I can finish it in a day, but I needed these stories too. See it? So this is what Joan Thatiah says on Mad Women. Mad Women is my tribute to women who've been called crazy for wanting more, for wanting better, for wanting different. So, to the woman reading this, the one who's holding herself together in a world that keeps trying to keep her apart, I hope you see yourself. I hope you see that your defiance is not madness. Your defiance is not madness. Yeah. Bye, guys. That's all I had to say. I don't know whether I did this book, but if I get some time, I'll also do this one. This one is lovely. Bye. So these are the Joan Thatiah. I'm gonna do a Kenyan, my favorite. The next video will be my favorite Kenyan authors, and of course, you know, guys, that Joan will be among them. I love these babies. Yeah. So bye, guys. Bye. Have a good day.